Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. So we're gonna do excavation discussion. Well, more like going through a PowerPoint presentation, I should say. You guys, of course, will see it on Blackboard uh, very soon. So let's get started. So industries engaged in excavation. So what are those industries? We have general contractors, highway contractors, bridge and tunnel, water, sewer, pipeline contractors, power line, concrete worker, and well drilling contractors. What are the different types of hazards of excavation? So there's cave-ins, underground utilities, materials equipment falling into excavation sites, struck by accidents, um, asphyxiation, explosions, and falls, electrocutions, drowning. What are some safety considerations? So, excavation is one of the most hazardous types of works in the construction industry, and accidents occur from inadequate planning. Build safety into your pre bid planning, plan safety into the job, take traffic, nearness of structures, other conditions, soil. Plan safety into the job. Again, consider surface and groundwater, water table, overhead, underground utilities, and weather. Job site safety and health programs. So you want to establish and maintain a safety and health program for the work site. Provide adequate systematic policies, procedures, and practices. Recognize job-related safety health hazards. Safety and health programs should reflect the unique characteristics of the job site. Proper implementation depends on cooperation amongst the supervisors, the employee groups, individual employees. Supervisors must understand his or her degree of responsibility and authority, and you want to get the unions involved as well. So, the first things first, before you start excavation, you have to locate utilities. Employers must determine the estimated locations of utility installations. You contact the utility companies before starting any type of excavation, and utility owners must attempt to find the exact location of any active utilities. So proceed with caution if the exact location of utilities cannot be found, and use safe and acceptable means to locate the exact locations of installations. Safety starts at the surface. So surface encumbrances that create hazards must be removed, supported, wear warning vests when near traffic, and employees must be trained to operate heavy equipment. Stay away from loads being handled by lifting, digging equipment, and stay away from vehicles being loaded and unloaded. Use different types of barricades, hand mechanical signals, stop logs. You might even have some type of flagger in place. Um, so barrels, cones. By the end of the shift, you should put a steel plate over the excavation work area to protect anyone from actually falling in there or gaining access to the excavation site. So warn mobile equipment operators about the edge of the excavation site. Keep the grade away from excavation site. Take care when walking near the site, so barricade or cover the wells, the pits, shafts, and of course use appropriate PPE. Mention this, so you got to locate the exact locations of utilities that must be determined, and utilities must be exposed before any digging can commence. Excavation sites must be protected, supported to safeguard the employees, and approach utility lines as if they are landmines. Employee access egress from excavation, so ramps must be designed by a competent person. Ramps must be structurally sound and not create a tripping hazard, and use surface treatments on ramps to prevent any slipping. Trenches 4 feet deep or 4 feet or more deep need a safe means of egress, and these are stairway, ladder, and ramps. Means of egress must be fixed and secure. Means of egress must be within 25 feet of the workers, and ladders must extend a minimum of 36 inches above the landing. Use metal ladders with caution around utilities. So what are some now hazardous atmospheres? We have explosive, flammable, poisonous, corrosive, oxidizing, irritating, oxygen deficient, and toxic. So operations inside an excavation can introduce a hazardous atmosphere. You want to test the air of excavation sites more than 4 feet deep before entering. Take extra precaution when the atmosphere has been established at less than 19.5% or more than 23.5% oxygen, a combustible gas concentration greater than 20% of a lower flammable limit, and concentrations of hazardous substances that exceed threshold limit values. Conduct all operations within OSHA requirements. Regularly conduct atmospheric testing if atmospheric hazards are present. Wear respiratory equipment when required, and know the hazards of the confined spaces. Emergency equipment. So emergency rescue equipment is required when there is a risk of hazardous atmospheres, and emergency rescue equipment must be attended when in use. Respirators must be suitable for the type of exposure, and independent lifelines must be provided when appropriate. Water accumulation, so employees are prohibited from entering excavation sites when accumulated water, with accumulated water unless adequate protection has been provided. Methods for controlling standing water include special support shield systems, water removal equipment, and safety harnesses and lifelines. Workers should be prepared to leave excavation sites if control measures begin to fail. Use diversion ditches or dikes to prevent surface water from entering excavation sites. A competent person inspects excavation sites subject to water runoff. And now we're going to go to protect the structures near to excavation sites. You're going to use support systems to keep nearby buildings, walls stable. What are some systems that you're going to use? They're going to be shoring, bracing, and underpinning. Excavation below the base of a footing or retaining wall is prohibited unless a support system is provided. Excavations under sidewalks, pavements are prohibited unless a support system is used. Workers must be prepared to leave excavation sites if support systems begin to fail. So now we're going to go into loose rock and soil as hazards. One of the main things is you want to prevent loose rock soils from falling onto employees in excavation sites. How do you do that? You use barricades to contain the material. Excuse me. Keep surface materials at least 2 feet from the edge of excavation sites, and keep employees off of sloped surfaces at levels above other employees. Now we're going to go into protective systems. What are some protective systems you have in place when you're going into, let's say, excavation ditch that's over 5 feet? So you'll have sloping or benching, support systems, shield systems, or other types of protective systems will be utilized. Protective systems are not needed as if the excavation is made in stable rock or less than 5 feet deep. Employees are free to choose the most practical design approach for a particular circumstance. So designing a protective system is complex. Protective systems must be able to resist all types of loads, and a competent person must examine protective systems materials. Now, you also want to find out what type of soil you are going to be dealing with when you start your excavation work. So stable rock, type A, type B, type C, and with that type of analysis, you'll be able to choose which protective system is best fit for your operation. So sloping and benching is one of systems to be utilized. So you slope the excavation sides to a safe angle. You slope the angle not to be steeper than 1.5 horizontal to 1 or less vertical is safe. Soil classification may not be needed if sloped to this angle. Other slopes may be used for other soil types. Benching systems